إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونشكره ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقائدنا ومرشدنا وحجتنا وشفيعنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله وطاعته، وأحثكم على التمسك بهدي قرآنه وسنة نبيه. فقد قال الله جل من قائل: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام، إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم. My dear young Muslims, dear sisters and brothers, dear children, it is one of those Jumu'ah where I'm certain that most of us come expecting the topic of the khutbah, because the world around us moves very fast from week to week, from day to day, I should say. The world has been moving so fast that I had to change the topic for this khutbah 3 times. One of those topics that I would have loved to address, and we made plans 2 days ago, is the topic about the commonalities between First Nations, the people who are the original inhabitants of this land, and Muslims. And we invited them to be with us. But then, as you know, something happened, and it has been happening a lot lately, a lot. However, this time, it happened very close to what we call home. Actually, this is home. Southwestern Ontario, Strathroy, London, this is home. So when it happens so close, we become quite conscious of the possibility that we may be media harassed, that people may now take the banner of what we learned to be called Islamophobia, and by association we become the target of hate. You know, yesterday, not the other day, I was going to say yesterday, a young man of this community who I consider like my own son wrote on Facebook that he was at Union Station in Toronto when he witnessed a Muslim woman with the hijab being abused by someone who kept telling her, "Go home." Well, you know that this statement has been repeated. We know that Islamophobia is on the rise, but at the same time, as emotions become intense, we know that wisdom prevails. You could have also received an email or a text or something through the media telling you that the government of Canada is considering making Islamophobia a punishable crime. And some people commented on that. They said, I mean, does it really need a law for people to understand that Islamophobia, the same as anti-Semitism, should be passed through a law to be punishable by people who practice it? Well, whatever the case may be. We are navigating an obstacle course, whether we like it or not. And those who are looking at the end of that course are the people who are going to be strong, who are going to be fit to navigate that course. We cannot just weaken ourselves because life is not for the weak. Even Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us in his hadith, "Al-mu'minu al-qawiyyu khayrun min al-mu'min al-da'if, wa fi kilayhima khayr." He said, the strong believer is better than the weak believer, even though there's goodness in both of them. Therefore, we've got to be strong, we've got to look at things, but not in a way that keeps perpetuating our mistakes. You know, for the last 2 to 3 years, we've been encountering unfortunate terrorist attacks by seemingly people who carry Muslim names and raise Islamic slogans. That doesn't make them Muslims, because they must be either, as the word is, let us use it, radicalized, or they could be actually used as elements to perpetuate certain actions to make Muslims look horrible. And what is happening is that every time something like this happens, the media and certain politicians demand that Muslims condemn such acts. That's the first thing. And some of them even go as far as saying that Muslim leaders are not doing enough to condemn such things. And then certain politicians, and one of them became so prominent now that people are really worried and scared that he may become the occupier of the most powerful office of the globe. And people like this who may propagate hatred, who may make life difficult, are not going to weaken our resolve to do things the right way. And let me just now pass to you a thought that all of us should consider. Now, condemnation, distancing ourselves from what happened, and then coming back to pray Isha and then Fajr and forget what happened until we encounter another difficulty is not going to work. We cannot just basically keep receiving the blows one after the other and say, what can we do? No, we can do a lot. And I want to tell you a story that little kids who are with us would love, because they can relate to it. And I would like to make a comparison between the mouse and the fruit fly. And let us see whether we as human beings are behaving like a mouse or like a fruit fly. And one might say, why are you comparing humans to rodents and insects? And well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran used a bird to teach a human being, Cain, what all of us are doing now, and that is how to bury our dead. You know the story that when Cain killed his brother Abel, he didn't know what to do with his body. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a crow to teach him, a crow, a bird, to teach him what to do. And until now, we continue to do what the crow taught us. And before, I gave a khutbah on 3 insects and made a comparison, if you remember, between ants, bees, and the spider. And all of these are names of surahs in the Quran. So now let us make a comparison and see what we are doing. Look at this. A fruit fly who is entrapped inside a room, when it discovers a window, it doesn't know that there's glass. It just sees light coming through the window. So that fruit fly keeps hitting at the glass. And if it did not make it through the glass, it goes, then it goes again and hits. And then it hits. And it keeps doing that until it's hurt irreversibly and it falls. It keeps going to the same glass, not realizing that this is a barrier. No. Whereas, if a mouse smells cheese or anything it likes to eat, and then goes in a certain path, and then finds that it's a dead end, it doesn't keep on going through the same path. It goes and it looks for another path, dead end, goes and looks for another dead end. Like a puzzle. Until finally, it gets to the cheese. The mouse keeps trying different ways. Now we, in facing the problems we are facing, and there are many of them. Many of them. And, you know, every time I really think of these problems, I say, Ya Allah, it is only your mercy that will help our children survive in the future. Not that I'm scaring our children. By the way, our children are very smart. Our children are very smart. And I have hope that they will be able to handle things much better in the digital future that we did not have. Many of the things that are bad, there are things that are good in the digital world that they know how to navigate, but sometimes, I would like to address later, they are being entrapped by this digital world. But for the children and for the young people, remember in your future that there was a man you know who told you from this mimbar to behave like mice, not like fruit flies. Keep looking for different ways until you get your target. That is one. Let me now say this. What do we have to do? Let us accept first that we are sick, that we need to be treated. If we keep saying, no, I'm fine, yes, it is part of that positive attitude to say, I'm going to conquer my disease. I met a very close brother at the door of the London Muslim Mosque a few Fridays back. And he was diagnosed with cancer. He looked at me and he said, probably you know, and people told you that I'm sick. I said, yes, I know. He said, I want to tell you and take from me and read my lips. That's what he told me, that I'm going to conquer cancer. I said, good for you. But then I said, please say inshallah. He said, yes, inshallah, inshallah. In his enthusiasm, he forgot to say inshallah. But his positive attitude is good. However, we cannot say, had he said, did people tell you that I have cancer? If I said yes, he said, no, they are lying, I don't have cancer. This is wrong. Because if he dismisses the problem, he will not be able to deal with it. And that goes for everything. Whenever there's a problem, number one, let's accept there's a problem. So what is the problem? The problem is our young people knowing, and some people may get upset with me, but that's okay, knowing that they are unable to fill the spiritual vacuum in their lives through the proper pathway that we, by trial and error, were able to fill. You know, from our grandparents, our neighbors, our masjid imam, we filled it, one way or the other. but quite often we filled it with the wrong stuff. You want to get upset? It's okay. We filled it with the wrong spiritual package. We thought that this is Islam. So we tried, whenever we had time, to pass this pattern of Islam to our children, but our children discovered that it's not working with them. At least in this world that they are living in, it's not working. So what is happening now? They went to the world that they can relate to, whether we like it or not. I know that this morning I was proud to attend the swearing-in ceremony of 10 new members of London Police. And one of them was a member of our community, a very active young man that I say, my son looks at him and he says, this is my role model. Alhamdulillah. He was sworn in as a police officer. But in that being one way of reaching out to the community, the 10 recruits actually, there was the black, and there were women, and there was the Latino, and there was, the Muslim, and there was the European. It was a beautiful mixture that reflects who we are in London, Ontario. But what I want to say as well, whereas the police chief and myself were reading from papers that we wrote on, the valedictorian of their class did what now all young people do. She took her iPhone and she was basically following on the iPhone, because this is the digital world they are living in. And this is a simple example. It's not that, she discovered something, but this is what they are doing. They can relate to that. So what shall we do? Now, we should actually coach them, because now our children in the summer, look at this, July 6th, 2016. How many months ago? Less than 2 months. Something very new caught our kids by surprise, and we started seeing them holding their iPhone and walking. Even if it is red light, they are walking. And some of them got hurt. Why? Because now Pokemon Go was launched, and the kids took it and they played with it. And some say that it is good because it made people walk and things, but there are other downfalls to it. Now, what shall we do? Let's yell at our kids and tell them they can. That's what we've been doing, and that's why I said let's yell at them. It's not going to solve the problem. You've got to bring your kids, and you've got to sit with them and talk. How many of us talk about what the kids are going through? How many of us know who their children are speaking with? Now, alhamdulillah, the media now did not say that Aaron Driver was a member of the London Muslim Mosque. Now they know that this is not going to lead anywhere. And actually, we don't have the same system as in other faith traditions to say, I am a member of the Islamic Center. Actually, when I'm asked, which church do you go? I say, wait a minute, first of all, it's not a church. Okay, it's a place of worship that we call masjid. And so which one of the two I said, I'm a member of the Muslim community of London, Ontario, because that many among us are members of the Islamic Center and the London Muslim Mosque and the Muslim Association of Canada and the Bosnian Islamic Center. We are members because there are no barriers. So our children, and let me say this because time does not allow us to keep on going and going and going. Alhamdulillah, the media did not say that he was a member, okay, because we tried, and this is something very good, in association with the right security officers in Canada, coordinated to tell them we are trying to rehabilitate this person who actually, when he was by himself, he kept communicating for radicalization. with others because it doesn't need to be physically present in the same room to be radicalized. So now, I will end the first khutbah by saying, we are sick and our illness is called inability to deal with the forces of radicalization that are after our youth nowadays. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. Let's make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will accept our dua. Ameen ya Rabbal Alamin. الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. My dear brothers and sisters, again, a story for the beloved young Muslims who are now, it's summer and they are coming and they would like to hear something, probably one thing they might hear during this summer season that will stay with them for the rest of their lives. So I want to tell you something. It is actually a story that I read this morning. This morning. There is a man by the name of Abu Yazid al-Bustami. His son woke up one night seeing his father doing qiyam. He was praying during the night. So he got up and he stood beside his father and he started to pray beside his father. When his father said, Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh, he said, oh son, you are still too young, go and sleep. He said, why do you want me to sleep? Why can't I pray like you do? He said, because you are too young and it's a cold night and there is still, a long time before Fajr comes, so go and sleep. He said, I do not want to sleep because I read in the Quran recently in Surah Al-Muzammil what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ يَعْلَمُ أَنَّكَ تَقُومُ أَدْنَى مِنْ ثُلُثَيِ اللَّيْلِ وَنِصْفَهُ وَثُلُثَهُ وَطَائِفَةٌ مِنَ الَّذِينَ مَعَكَ. Said Allah knows, Ya Muhammad, that you get up in prayer a little bit less than 2/3 of the night, half of the night, 1/3 of the night, and a group of people with you. So the son of Abu Yazid Bustami looked at his father and he said, who are those group that are praying with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He said, these are his companions. So his son looked at him and said, why do you want to prevent me, to stop me from your companionship? I want to be with you. I want to. He said, but son, you're still young. Look what the young little boy who did not reach puberty yet said. Look what he said to his father. He said, I saw my mother use little twigs to burn in order to give fire to big logs. So it is those little twigs that can make all the difference. The little twigs that burn first in order to give fire to the big logs. Meaning that we should really focus our attention on our children. The example that I gave doesn't mean that we should just, burn their energy. No. But it means that we should understand that our children need to be looked after 24/7 in order for them to be away from the forces that may infiltrate into their lives. We've got to, one thing I feel very bad about, but I will try and I want to tell you, and my son is listening to me. He said, you're about to go to Hajj and you did not take me on a one-day holiday even. And I was struggling and I feel very guilty. And I want to say to parents who did not think much about it because of an extra dollar they are making, you shouldn't let this go away without the chance of sitting with your children in a car and talk about things that you've never talked about in their lives, about school, about games they are playing, about things they are listening to, about, we've got to embrace our children and Consider it for whatever it's worth. Probably you heard our brother Naji mention about the RIS tour. I want to tell you something about this. This is a chance that we may miss if we do not pay attention to it. You know, the RIS every year for 15 years has been holding its conference in Toronto with about 20,000 people in attendance. Now they are starting for the first time something new, in that they are bringing 5 speakers to town. They are starting in London, Ontario, going to Mississauga, Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal in 3 days, starting next Friday. And they wanted to start in London because I advised them to start in London. So please don't turn me down. I told them that London is the oldest Muslim community in Ontario. So you cannot start halfway, you've got to start in the beginning. And that is why I urge you after the khutbah to go and buy the $5 ticket. The $5 is just basically a token that you are going to come, and it's going to be at the Wolf Performance Hall at Central Library next Friday at 6 o'clock. Get all of your children because there are speakers. 2 of the 5 speakers are wonderful youth communicators. And I want you to be there. I want you to attend. Don't miss this opportunity. Don't miss your chance. And let us show that London really delivers. London really, because these are the kind of things that will take care of radicalization and will put them at bay away from us, inshallah. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وخطايانا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا. اللهم آرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وآرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم علمنا من ديننا ما جهلنا وذكرنا منه ما نسينا وكن معنا ولا تكن علينا. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم.